The Los Angeles skyline shimmered under the late March sun, a haze of heat and hustle clinging to the city like a velvet curtain poised to drop on the next blockbuster drama. And drop it did. Square onto Danielle Bregoli, the unapologetic rapper known as Bhad Bhabie, whose name had been a wildfire tearing through social media feeds and tabloid headlines for weeks. It was March 13th, 2025, and the air crackled with a tension that rivaled the most electric showdowns, like that iconic studio clash between Caroline and Michael, in another tale of unshakable resolve. But this wasn't about faith in the divine sense. This was about loyalty, betrayal, and a scandal so juicy it had the internet buzzing like a swarm of hornets on a sugar high. Hold tight, because what unfolded was a roller coaster nobody saw coming. The penthouse suite, perched high above the Hollywood Hills, was a vibe. Sleek, modern, dripping with swagger. Danielle lounged on a plush velvet couch, her platinum blonde locks, freshly debuted for her Ms. Whitman video, cascading over her shoulders like liquid gold. At 21, she was a self-made mogul, raking in millions from her OnlyFans empire, a rap career that refused to quit, and a sixth sense for staying in the spotlight. Her phone vibrated non-stop beside her, notifications stacking up like a deck of cards in a high-stakes poker game. She ignored them, her hazel eyes, sharp as a hawk's, locked on the massive flat-screen TV dominating the room. The headline screamed in blood-red letters, "Bhad Bhabie's baby daddy Vaughn shot. Armed intruders target her home next." TMZ was feasting, and X-posts were flying faster than a SpaceX rocket launch. Danielle didn't blink. She'd danced with chaos before. Hell, she'd turned it into her brand. From that viral "cash me outside" moment on Dr. Phil at 13 to outrunning paparazzi outside juvie, she'd flipped every middle finger into a paycheck. But this hit different. She wasn't just the reckless teen anymore. She was a mom now, with little Carly, her 1-year-old daughter with Vaughn, napping in a crib down the hall. The weight of that reality pressed against her chest like a loaded Glock, even if she'd rather die than say it out loud. The madness kicked off 3 days earlier, on March 5th, outside a grimy downtown LA strip club called the Pink Rhino. Vaughn, Danielle's on-again, off-again, ride or die, stumbled out into the neon-lit night, blood dripping from his right hand like a cheap horror flick. Witnesses said it started as a drunken scuffle, some dude in a Lakers jersey mouthing off, Vaughn throwing a wild hook, then chaos. Blurry security footage leaked online showed fists flying, bottles smashing, and a single gunshot popping off like a firecracker. The bullet tore through Vaughn's palm, a clean exit wound that wasn't fatal, but messy enough to land him in Cedars-Sinai's ER. Danielle was at home, rocking Kaylee to sleep, when her phone lit up with his Instagram story, a grainy clip of him in a hospital gown, bandaged hand raised, flashing a weak thumbs up. Caption: "I'm good, fam. Shit happens." The internet lost its damn mind. Was it a setup? Gang beef? A jilted side chick? X turned into a war zone of theories. Vaughn's in too deep with the wrong crew, while TikTok sleuths stitched together conspiracies faster than you could say algorithm. Danielle stayed quiet, lips sealed tighter than a vault. But the silence didn't last. The next night, March 6th, the real storm hit her San Fernando Valley mansion, a $8.25 million fortress she'd snatched up with her OnlyFans cash. She was scrolling X, half watching Kaylee toddle around with a stuffed bunny, when the security system screeched like a banshee. Her phone pinged with the app alert. 3 hooded figures, guns gleaming under the moonlight, slinking across her manicured lawn. Vaughn had just rolled up in his matte black Tesla, still wincing from his stitched-up hand. Danielle's pulse jackhammered as she snatched Kylie, bolting to the panic room. A steel-walled bunker she'd laughed off when the realtor showed it to her. "Get here now," she hissed into her phone to 911, voice steady despite the adrenaline flooding her veins. "Someone's trying to break in." She watched the live feed, Vaughn ducking behind his car, the intruders smashing a side window, until sirens wailed in the distance. By the time LAPD stormed the scene, the gunmen had ghosted, melting into the night like smoke. The headlines detonated. Bhad Bhabie targeted in home invasion. X-Trends shot through the roof. #Bhad Bhabie scandal. #LaVaughn shot. #who's after her, while fans and trolls dissected every pixel. Was it tied to the strip club shooting? A botched heist? Or, here's where it gets spicy. Was it fallout from her simmering feud with Alabama Barker, Travis Barker's influencer princess? The rumor mill was spinning so fast it could have powered the grid. Let's backtrack to the beef. It ignited in January when Danielle dropped Overcooked, a snarling diss track that didn't name Alabama, but painted a neon bullseye on her vibe. Lines like, "Fake friends creeping round my man, trying to sip from my cup," and "Pretty face, empty head, chasing clout with the ex," had the blogs buzzing. Everyone clocked the Tyga reference. Rumors Alabama had flirted with him post-Kylie. And Tyga shut it down on X. "Nah, fam, that's cap. Keep my name out this." Alabama clapped back with "Cry Baby," a synth-heavy jab flipping Danielle's moniker into a taunt, with a low blow at Kylie. "Daddy only there 'cause the bag's fat, huh?" That's when the gloves came off. Danielle's mom, Barbara Ann, stormed Instagram Live, fire in her eyes. "Mention my grandbaby again, and I'll drag your whole family tree through the mud, little girl." By early March, the feud was a trending inferno, X ablaze with fan wars and stan accounts picking sides. Kourtney Kardashian allegedly slid into Alabama's DMs, begging her to chill after Barbara name-dropped Travis's newborn son, Rocky, in a savage post. "Keep it up, and I'll tell the world what really goes down at your daddy's house." The timing of the shooting and invasion? Too perfect. X-posts screamed conspiracy. "Alabama hired those dudes, I'm calling it. And this ain't beef, this is war." Danielle wasn't sold, though. Alabama was a drama queen, sure, but masterminding a hit? That was some Godfather shit, and Alabama's biggest crime was overusing lip fillers, not running a crime syndicate. Still, she wasn't letting it slide. On March 6th, hours after Vaughn's hospital stunt, Danielle hit Instagram stories with a Molotov cocktail of a post. "You think shading my kid is gangster? The internet's got your number now. When I catch you, you better sprint, bitch." It racked up 10 million views in a day, fueling the feud into a cultural wildfire. Diss tracks dropping like bombs, fan edits flooding TikTok, even 50 Cent weighing in on X. "These girls wilder than I was at 21. Respect the hustle." But here's where the script flips harder than a stunt driver on Mulholland. March 7th, post-invasion, Danielle's security chief, a burly ex-Marine named Jax, called her up, voice tight. "Check this out, D. We found something on a cam you didn't even know was there." Turns out the mansion's previous owner, some tech bro, had installed a hidden lens in the mailbox. Paranoid much? And it caught one of the gunmen fumbling. He'd dropped a burner phone into the hydrangeas, screen cracked but alive with one text. "Make it look real. She'll pay." Danielle's jaw hit the floor as she read it, sprawled on her couch with Kaylee chewing a teething ring beside her. "What the actual fuck?" she muttered, brain spinning like a DJ's turntable. Someone wanted her terrified, enough to fork over cash like a shaken-down mark. But who? Vaughn? Nah, he was too busy milking his wounded warrior arc for clout, and his acting skills peaked at faking a smile. Alabama? Too on the nose? Plus, she'd been live-streaming a Sephora haul when the invasion went down. Alibi locked. Her team went full CSI, tracing the burner to a prepaid account snapped up at a Shell station in Atlanta. Atlanta, where Danielle had jetted off to on March 2nd, crashing at a rented loft to dodge the LA circus after Overcooked dropped. The dots connected like a beat hitting the snare. This wasn't random, and it wasn't Alabama. This was an inside hit, cooked up by someone who knew her schedule, her soft spots, her every move. Danielle's inner circle was tight. Her mom, Barbara, Vaughn, a couple producers like DJ Spins, who'd laced her last track, and Tony, her manager since the Dr. Phil days. Tony, with his Armani suits and shark-tooth grin, who'd been harping on extra security since the shooting. Tony, who'd been in Atlanta scouting venues last week. She didn't jump him yet. Danielle wasn't built that way. She played it ice cold, texting Tony. "Yo, I'm rattled. Thinking about moving some cash for protection." His reply pinged back in seconds. "Smart move, D. I'll handle it." Hook, line, sinker. She had him dangling, but she needed the net. Enter Ray Mendoza, a grizzled ex-LAPD detective with a buzz cut and a bourbon habit, who'd helped Barbara sniff out shady docs during her cancer fight in 18. Danielle called him up March 8th, pacing her kitchen while Kaylee mashed avocado into her high chair. "Ray, some shit's going down, and I need you to dig," she said, voice low. Ray didn't flinch. Dude had seen worse than a rapper's drama. "Give me 48 hours, kid," he rasped, already lighting a cigarette. Ray went to work, tailing Tony like a bloodhound. March 9th, he caught him slipping, meeting a wiry guy in a hoodie at a diner off Sunset, sliding a fat envelope across the table. Ray's Nikon snapped the exchange. Then he hit Tony's trash later that night. Score, a crumpled shell receipt for the burner, time-stamped March 1st, Atlanta. Meanwhile, Danielle wasn't sitting pretty. She tapped Spins, her producer with a knack for hacking. He'd once bragged about cracking a rival's SoundCloud for fun. "Check Tony's phone records," she told him, tossing him a stack of cash. Spins grinned, diving into the dark web like it was a playground. By March 10th, the puzzle was snapping together. Spins unearthed a burner number Tony had called 6 times before the invasion, pinging a tower near Danielle's mansion. Ray's diner guy? A small-time hustler named Rico, known for staging scares for the right price. Danielle's blood boiled, but she kept her cool, plotting the sting like a trap anthem building to the drop. March 11th, she flew back to LA, renting a decoy Airbnb in Venice Beach to throw off any tales. She told Tony she was laying low at the penthouse, setting the stage. March 12th, game day, she summoned him there. Cameras rolling, courtesy of Ray's tech whiz, a twitchy kid named Milo who'd wired the place like a reality show set. Danielle leaned into the role, voice quivering. "I'm done, Tony. I'll pay whatever to end this shit." Tony's eyes gleamed, greed oozing like oil. "I got connects," he purred. $500,000 and it's quiet." "Word," Danielle said, sliding a duffel bag across, empty as a politician's promises. Tony grabbed it, and Ray crashed in, old badge glinting. "Game over, dipshit," he barked, as Milo's cams caught every second. LAPD swarmed, tipped off by Ray's precinct pals. The evidence was a slam dunk. Burner texts, Rico's confession after Ray leaned on him, Tony's prints on the cash envelope. Tony crumpled, whining about debts and pressure. But Danielle didn't flinch. She'd checkmated his ass. March 13th, the bomb dropped. Bhad Bhabie's manager busted an extortion plot. X erupted. She played him like a fiddle, while haters cried clout chasing. Danielle smirked, dropping an Instagram gem. "Trust nobody, not even your shadow? Checkmate?" Views hit 20 million. Vaughn healed, flexing his scar like a badge. Alabama tweeted a vague, "Karma's a bitch," then deleted it. Kaylee babbled through the chaos, her tiny world untouched. But the story didn't end there. March 14th, a curveball. Ray found a second burner in Rico's stash, with a text from an unknown number. "She's too smart. Up the ante." Danielle stared at it, sprawled in the penthouse, Kaylee asleep on her chest. Tony wasn't the mastermind, just a pawn. Someone else was pulling strings, and they weren't done. She grinned, sharp and feral. Let 'em come. She'd built an empire on beating the odds, and this was just round 2. As the LA sun sank, painting the hills in fire, Danielle kicked back, Kaylee's soft breaths against her. The scandal wasn't her ruin. It was her reign. She wasn't just surviving. She was rewriting the game, one savage move at a time. And whoever was next better bring their A-game, because Bhad Bhabie was ready to burn it all down and dance in the ashes.